Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Selah. I'm your host Ishimwe Vestine, and I thank you all for joining us today, joining us into this pondering session, this moment to sit down and pause and talk about a revelation from God, talk about just His Word and sit and ponder on that. I thank you all for coming in today. I thank every single one of you guys who pressed on this video, this link, however you got here. I'm going to encourage each and every single one of you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share, post, whatever the case may be, whatever the Lord is placing on your heart to do. Go ahead and press that subscribe button to go ahead and see all the other episodes and any upcoming episodes that are coming. And also press that ringer so you can be notified when a new episode comes. Because, guys, why not? Just a moment to come and ponder with us. Why wouldn't you? Anywho, without further ado, I'm going to thank you guys again and thank God again for yet another episode that is coming to you guys right now on your screens. So, without further ado, I wanted to get into today's pondering session. So, I wanted to start off with a fun fact, right? It's not really a known fact. I'd be forgetting sometimes too, but today's topic had me thinking. It kind of related to something that I kind of do on the side sometimes is personal training. I got my personal training license about 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I started personal training at one of the gyms here for a while, and then school got busy and whatnot, and so I stopped for a little bit, and so it reminded me of how the things that I learned while doing that, like how muscle grows and form and pounds and toning versus bodybuilding and things like that, and so. Today, I wanted to just touch on the fact, right? One thing that I noticed when I learned to personal training, when I started getting into personal training, was that it's important to get the form right first without any weight, and then you add weight on little by little. Because if you don't get the form right and you just start lifting weights, you either can hurt yourself or you could be working the wrong part of your body that you didn't intend to be working, right? And so, with that being said, something that God has been teaching me is that He prioritizes who you're becoming more than how fast you get there, because He wants you to build muscle memory. God wants you to build muscle memory. He does not care about how fast you get there, because at the end of the day, He knows that you're going to get there. He just cares about what form you have, and the person that you're building in the midst of it, and your becoming. He cares about your becoming more than what you're about to become, how fast you're going to become that, whatever the case may be. It's always about the form first. Even if you add the weight before you get the form right, you're just going to hurt yourself, or you're going to work the wrong part. And so I think God works in that same way with us, especially when He wants to teach us something or when He wants to reveal something to us. He wants that thing to turn us or change us or reveal something in us more than like, oh, He reveals a vision to you of what you're going to do or how you're going to be in like 10 plus years. And you're worried about how fast you're going to get there. Oh my gosh, 10 years is too far. It's too far. It's too far. Yet you don't even have the heart posture that you need for that thing that He has shown you. But one point that I wanted to touch is that quick fixes don't produce lasting results. They build addictions, cover-ups, and excuses. Because if you do a quick fix, that means the root of the problem hasn't been fixed yet. You're just kind of covering up the pain, covering up the mistake, covering up the habit. Because if you don't build muscle memory to overweigh the bad habit, then you're always going to have that bad habit, because at the end of the day, all you did was cover it up, which means that cover up is only temporary. It will go away and you will be forced to face that thing again, face that bad habit, face that heart posture that you're running away from. And so what quick fixes does, it causes you to build excuses, cover-ups. It causes you to build contentment. It causes you to build maybe like reasons why it makes sense. It causes you to start mansplaining the reason why you're doing it. It causes you to mansplain the reason why, oh, this is how it just builds up so much. It's like it also builds up an addiction, because if you're constantly needing to put on a quick fix, you're going to always want that quick fix, which means that you're going to get addicted to it because you're not getting to the root of the problem. If you're not getting to the root of the problem, you're going to continue to need that quick fix. If you don't go to a doctor, you're going to keep needing to put a band-aid on. You're going to need to keep taking pain meds, right? My thing, me, right? I personally don't take pain meds unless it's like an absolute need. I just I just personally don't like taking pain meds because I feel like they're just a temporary cover over the pain. And I feel like for me, when I take pain meds and the pain meds wear off, the pain feels even worse than what it did before. So I personally just stay away from pain meds, right? And so what this is like whenever you're trying to um get a quick fix for something and you're not actually living and bathing in the situation or whatever it is that you're in, you're just getting a quick fix. Like, let's say you have a problem and you don't want to go the hard way to fix it. You get a quick fix. All of a sudden, you need another quick fix. If my leg is broken and I'm like, oh, it's okay, I could just shake it off and take some pain meds. I take some pain meds. It's still hurting the next day. I'm gonna need another pain med. It's still hurting hours later. I'm gonna need 2 more pain meds. It's still hurting tomorrow. Maybe I may need 4. If I don't go to the doctor, I'm always going to go back to the pain meds. And so whenever we're trying to, oh, I want a summer body, let me just lift a whole bunch of weights and do a whole bunch of cardio and then, that's it. No, because the root of the problem is probably what you're eating or probably how you're burning your calories or what type of food you're eating rather than you just doing cardio and then you're going to have your summer body. No, because then that's a quick fix. Even if you do lose a whole bunch of pounds, it's going to come right back because you're still eating the same. A person who's addicted to alcohol or started to become addicted to alcohol because of a traumatic experience is always going to go back to that alcohol if they never deal with the traumatic experience. It's just a quick fix, and that's what builds addictions. That's what builds addictions. You may go into the gym and run a whole bunch and do a whole bunch of core workouts. You lose the weight, you stop going to the gym, you go back and you gain the weight again. You're going to have to go back and do those same things, cardio, because it's just a quick fix. It just temporarily hides the fact that you eat poorly. It temporarily hides the fact that alcohol is only temporarily hiding the fact that there's something in your past that you haven't dealt with. Sometimes even fornication or going to these bad friends is just a quick fix to the fact that you have not dealt with this traumatic experience that you had as a child. And so a lot of times we try to cover up the becoming that God wants us to be with quick fixes, with doing things in the wrong form, with putting on a whole bunch of weight and trying to build muscle with just putting on a whole bunch of weight without doing it correctly. And now we're working the wrong muscle and we're hurting ourselves. Um, and I wanted to give an example of fast food versus slow cooked meals. One sustains and the other one fills temporarily and makes you big. It just makes you big. Okay. When you're eating fast food, it's literally, I've noticed that if I eat food that's not healthy for me, I get hungry faster. Like it literally wears off and it just comes out of me very much faster. If I go and eat a whole bunch of Chick-fil-A or eat a whole meal from like McDonald's, I don't eat McDonald's, but like if I was to eat something very unhealthy, right? It will literally leave my body faster than any rice or veggies would because the veggies and rice needs to be broken down so it sits in my body longer, right? And so fast food it's fast to get, it's convenient, and then when you get it, it comes out of you faster. So therefore you're gonna need more of it. It doesn't sustain you. You take it and then maybe a couple hours later you're hungry again. So it's not gonna sustain you or fill you. It's only there to temporarily cover up the hunger that you are feeling. If I'm super hungry, I'm not gonna go and eat fast food because then I'm gonna be super hungry again in 2 hours. But if you eat a slow home cooked meal, that's gonna last you for about 6 to 8 hours. If I was to go and cook me a meal right now, I probably won't be hungry until the next day this time, right? Because sometimes I eat one meal a day. It's not even that I'm in intermediate fasting. It's just that's just how my body be sometimes. But if I ate a home cooked meal, I would have I would have so much more sustaining me because the food is healthy, the food is good for me, and it's nourishing rather than just bigging. It's just bigging your back. If you eat all this fast food, all it's doing is just filling you and bigging your back. That's all it's doing for you. It's just creating a thirst for it over and over and over again. And guess what happens when you continue to eat that fast food? Because now your stomach is empty again. You get big. Now you've just bigged your back for no reason. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so sometimes your muscles aren't growing not because of the pounds, but because you aren't lifting it correctly. And then we don't eat right. One thing I always used to tell my clients is that there's two different forms, or at least for me, whenever I'm trying to do muscle building, I lift heavier and I do less reps. Like I do the exercise less times and I lift a lot more heavier weight because I want my muscles to grow. But if you just want to lose weight, you just want to tone your muscles, tone your body, you're going to do less weight and you're going to do it with more reps, just continuing to do it so your muscles can build just a toneness around it rather than just becoming big, right? And so whenever I'm speaking to my clients, and let's say I have a new client, right? And they let's say they want to work on their back and their legs, right? If I'm putting them on an exercise, the first thing I do is not give them weight. You cannot learn an exercise with weight. The first thing you need to do is weightless exercises so that your form can get better. If I put them on weight right away, they're going to hurt themselves. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna hurt themselves. They're gonna sit here on the cable rolls and they're gonna hurt themselves. Now they're gonna come back to me and try to sue me because I did too much, right? With God, we wonder why He's not giving us all these things that we ask for. It's because we don't have our form correctly yet. We want the speed. God, why haven't you given it to me? God, why haven't you given it to me? Your form isn't correct. So if He puts the weight on, you're going to either hurt yourself or end up working the wrong thing. If it gives it to you too fast, you're going to end up on the wrong path and you're going to end up hurting yourself. If you don't get your form right before you put all that weight on, you're going to hurt yourself. Quite very good example. Back in basic training, right? Oh boy, this is exactly how I hurt my back. Back in basic training, boy, I thought I was so big. I thought I was Godzilla or something, guys. It came to the deadlift. We were supposed to do a deadlift for part of our physical exercise test, right? Came to the deadlift. I went on to that deadlift and I said, you know what? I did 140 yesterday. I was cool. I did 160 yesterday. I was cool. And I said, you know what? Give me 200. I said, give me 200. And they were like, are you sure? I said, yeah, give me 200. Give me 200. So they gave me the 200 and, I went to lift it. Mind you, this is like week what of basic training. It was not, I don't even think it was a month yet of basic training, but I'm thinking I'm so big because, before basic training, I was an athlete. I ran track. I wrestled. I used to go to the gym a lot. So I was like, I'm big. I wanted to show out. Okay. I wanted to show the results of my labor, right? And so I asked for the 200 pounds. They gave me the 200 pounds. I went to lift it. Boom, right? I went to lift the 200 pounds. I settled myself. I started to lift. I started to lift. Guys, the weight was not coming off. So you know what? I said, this form isn't working. Because first, before they told us to lift the pounds, they taught us kind of how to do it. They taught us that your back needs to be straight and you come up with your legs and you hold it, the good old stuff, right? For me, I was trying to pick it up that way and it wasn't working. So I didn't automatically think that it was the weight that was the problem. I was thinking it was me that was the problem. So instead of lifting it with my legs, guys, I lifted with my back. I came up like this. I came up with my back and I heard a yeah, if you hear that, please stop in your tracks right there. Because the second I heard that, I said, guys, the pain that flowed down my spine to my leg, guys, I automatically was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that 200. Maybe I should have stuck to the 140 because no. And to this day, I'm still dealing with that back pain because I decided to go out of the form that they taught me, guys. And I wanted to add more weight before the time. I didn't have my form correctly. I didn't build the body muscle. And I wasn't even ready to take the 200. But I asked for it because it was like, I think I'm ready. Give me the 200. I did 160 yesterday. I think I could do it today. And then on top of that, once I was about to go pick up the 200, I was like, this form isn't going to work because right now I'm struggling. My legs ain't strong enough. Let me try to pick it up like this. And the second I tried to pick it up like that and it was working, I lifted up like that and I hurt myself, right? So whenever we put these little quick fixes and these pain meds on, it's like, yeah, it's working. So you continue to lift, and then all of a sudden you hear, you're done. That's it. That's it. That's all. Epi finish. That's it. That was just a quick little story, because I think whenever we don't like, what, there's a saying that my pastor always used to say, and he said, whenever you don't know the value of something, um, abuse is inevitable. Whenever you don't know the use or the value of something, abuse is inevitable. Whenever you don't know the use of your purpose, abuse is inevitable. Whenever you don't know the use or the value in waiting, or in taking your time, or in the form that you're learning, if you don't know the use of the form that they're teaching you, you're gonna abuse it. You're gonna be like, nah, that's nothing, whatever, right? You're going to misuse it. You're going to abuse it. Even the purpose that God has given you, you're going to abuse it and misuse it because you don't know the value of it. You don't know what it means to wait. You don't understand why he's asking you to wait. You don't understand why he's telling you, hey, don't speed up. I want you to get your form right correctly. And if you don't know that, if you don't know why, sometimes a lot of us wants to run at a speed that's not ours, or run at a speed that's somebody else's, because they're getting there faster, because they're moving a little faster, because they have the cars and dream house and careers, and we are the same age, or they're younger than me and they're way ahead of me and I'm still here. God is not worried about the speed in which you get there. You realize that the people who are getting there faster, they are like, for example, whenever somebody is walking slower, you notice when somebody's holding a lot of groceries, or a lot of let's say like they're holding a whole bunch of groceries and it's cold outside, they're going to walk so fast inside that house that you're probably not even going to see them outside. But for me, if I don't have any weight, I could walk a little lighter, right? I could walk a little. But for somebody who's carrying a lot of weight, you see they move faster. And so you see, we're wishing for these people's lives, we're wishing for these people's careers, and seeing these people moving so much faster than us, but we're wishing for that, and we don't realize what it is they may be carrying. We don't realize what type of weight they may be carrying that's causing them to move so fast. There is something about speed that will cause you to go outside of the will of God. The speed that you want to go that's outside of God will take you outside of the will of God, because that's not what was meant for you. That person's weight isn't yours, neither is their speed. And so when we go on Instagram, and that's why I be saying, dang, I need to log out of Instagram, guys, because I be finding myself like, dang, look at that. Oh my God, they just bought their first house. Nah, wow. Whenever we log into Instagram or TikTok and see these people doing so great, like, for me, I used to look at like people's followings and likes on pictures, and I'm like, dang, look how good they're doing on social media. And so whenever we get on these things and we're seeing other people's lives, and we're seeing other people's careers go well, and we're still stagnant, and we're still stuck in the same job, clocking in 9 to 5, and they're making salary, and they're 2 years younger than me. They just graduated, they got a job already. And I think when for me, when I started becoming stagnant in my career, I started looking around. I'm like, dang, this person's already way ahead, and they started school way after me. And I'm just like, dang, God, what am I not doing right? And I'm asking for their speed, when there's a purpose and there's a value in my speed that God has put me on. There's a value in my speed. And like, for example, whenever you're driving, like, let's say you ever drive and you're looking, like, if you look away from the lane in which you're driving, you're gonna swerve into that lane. Like, let's say I'm driving and I'm going straight in my lane, and I look over to this lane and I'm looking at it for a minute. I will notice my car starts to drift that way, or I start to drift that way a little bit. If you keep paying attention to somebody's life, you're gonna start moving into their lane accidentally start moving into their lane because you're watching it too hard. Mind your own lane. Mind your own business. The business that cuts your check. And it's not that one. It's not that one. Their business do not cut your check. So comparison will always be a root of destruction. Comparison will always be a root of destruction, because when we start looking at other people's speed, other people's achievements, where other people are, we start questioning our own, because why am I not there? Why are they there? I've done everything they've done and I'm not there yet. God is not asking for your speed. He's asking for your becoming and your form. He wants you to get your form correctly first. Not everybody's journey is the same. Even if the destination is the same, the journey won't be, because the person that they're meant to be when they get there is not the same person you're meant to be when you get there. We're totally different people. We're on different paths. So if we start wishing for people's speeds, we're going to end up hurting ourselves, because we were not meant to pick up that 200 pounds deadlift yet. We're still at the 160. Let's stay at the 160, learn the 160, fix our form, and then move to 200. Um, Abs. I wanted to say this because I always find this funny, but I always used to say it all the time, because a lot of people would come to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I want to build abs. I want to strengthen my core. I want to get a flatter stomach. I want to get a small stomach," right? A lot of people would come to me and say, "I just want to work on my stomach." And I always tell them, abs are built in a kitchen. Y'all can't come to me and say you want me to personal train you to give you abs. Even me self, I don't have abs. Because why? I just eat whatever I want, guys. Sometimes I'll be like, people be like, "Oh, you work out so much. Why don't you have abs? Why don't you have an 8-pack yet?" Guys, abs are made in the kitchen. If I go to the gym 5 times a day and I still eat poorly, I'm not gonna have abs. I'm not going to have a flat stomach. I might still have my love handles. If I go to the gym 5 times a day and I come home and I eat whatever I want, I'm still gonna have those love handles, and I'm still going to have my core is still not gonna be strengthened. I'm still not gonna look the way that you would expect me to look if you knew that I went five times a day to the gym. You can't eat trash and expect a slim to be slim fit. You can't. And I always tell my not in a way of fat shaming you, but at the end of the day, there's not much that I could do for you here in the gym when it comes to um your stomach. So I used to tell them, like, it's what you do behind the scenes that builds your abs. I don't know what you eat when you get home. So therefore I can't exactly train you. I can give you a plan, a nutrition plan on what to eat and what to stay away from, what type of carbs to eat, what type of carbs not to eat. I can give you that plan. But at the end of the day, if I give you a plan and you go back home and you don't follow and you come back and you say, "Why haven't I had abs yet?" You probably didn't follow the plan. If you come back 3, 4 months later and you still look the same, you're probably not following the plan. The outcome publicly will show you the work that you've been putting in privately. The outcome that you are looking at publicly will show you the work that you have been putting in privately. If you come back to me and I'm like, "Hey, why are you, you know, hey, how is the nutrition going?" You tell me, "Oh, it's going great," but not no type of improvement. Maybe almost a year later of us working together, no improvement in that area. I'm gonna probably assume that you probably haven't been doing your work in private. In private, you're probably eating whatever you want. In private, you're probably not following the nutrition plan that you asked me to write up for you. You get what I'm saying? So if whatever you do behind closed doors, whatever you do in private, if you follow God's plan in private, you will see the outcome in public. You will see the outcome. Matter of fact, it will be evident. You'll be like, "Wow, that person really been, on their stuff. They've been on their stuff. They've been putting in the work behind the scene and at the gym." Me personally, you will see me. I've been putting in the work in the gym, but sometimes I'm slacking behind the gym. So it's like that will be evident. It will be evident. So it's not like God is just making up a plan just for you to just look at it and go and do your own plan. No, 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 no. That's not what it is. Um, but waiting shapes things that speed can't. Waiting shapes things that speed can't. One example is like a job application, right? The thing is, I was having this conversation with my sisters in Christ, and she gave an example of like a job application, how sometimes she gets so anxious and impatient when she applies for a job, and they're just taking their good old time to respond. They taking like 2 weeks, still ain't giving her a word about nothing. Right. And she gets so anxious, like, what's taking so long? What could be taking so long? Just let me know if I got the job or not. Right. And I told her, sometimes waiting is needed because you don't know what has to be done behind the scenes to make sure you're ready. Sometimes, right? Let's say you put in that job application and you got accepted for the job and they haven't gotten back to you yet. Realize that the hiring managers probably have to set up who's training you, set up your supervisor, who you're gonna be under, who's gonna be over you for the first 2 weeks of your training, what you're gonna learn, what departments you're gonna be, what department they're gonna put you in, what type of work you're gonna be doing. This is all stuff that they have to present to you the first day that you come in, or when you accept the offer letter. So it could be so much that goes into that process while we're sitting here being impatient. They're probably preparing your first day of work while you're sitting here being impatient because they haven't got back to you yet. So I was telling her, like, it's the same thing with God. We're so impatient saying, God, why haven't you? God, why haven't you? Whole time, we don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. We don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. You tell God, like, God, you told me yesterday that I was going to da-da-da. You gave me a vision. You started it and da-da-da-da. And I'm still not. Relax. Calm down. It's enough. Because you don't know what God is doing behind the scenes. He could be preparing your training manager, figuring out what department you're going to be in, figuring out how you're going to learn certain things, who's going to teach you certain things, who's going to be over you or your manager, who's going to be leading you, whatever the case may be, or what roles you're going to play for certain departments. Let him do his job. He can't do his job if you're nagging every day. God, why haven't you? God, what happened? God, what? God, what? God. One thing about it, the same way a husband is not going to take out the trash if the wife is continuously nagging them about taking the trash out. Now it's becoming an annoyance that they don't even want to do it anymore. You get what I'm saying? It becomes an annoyance. If you want me to take the trash out, tell me once. If it comes like two a day, okay, now I know I need to go take the trash out. But if you constantly like, they take the trash out. Hey, did you take the trash out? Hey, why haven't you taken the trash out? Like, then I'm gonna be like, bro, I'm gonna take the trash out. Like, relax, calm down. Even though I understand you want it to be done right now, right here, right now. You want God to be done right here, right now. But at the end of the day, it tells us in the Bible that he who started a good work, I think it's in Philippians 1:6, it tells us that he who started a good work in us will bring it to completion until the day that he returns. He will bring it to completion. If he started a work in you, you can trust and believe that it will come to completion. Why? Because he said it. He said it in his word, and my God is not a man that he shall what? Lie, nor is he a son of man that he shall repent. Come on. Come on. Y'all know I love that one. I love that one. Right? When he said he started a good work and he will bring it to completion, why am I anxious? Why am I saying, God, why haven't you done it yesterday? Why is it not done yet today? Why am I still waiting for tomorrow to be done? Why am I still sitting here No, relax. Relax. It's enough. It's enough. And the biggest testimony for me about that is my mother. And I will always say that. My mother is the greatest testimony of patience. Boy, guys, great testimony of patience. And I always say this, why? Because just the things that woman has been through and the patience that it took to just still be there and still have faith. Guys, I promise y'all, ain't nobody stronger than a mother. Nobody is stronger than a mother. And I say that to say her form never wavered. But still, the speed in which she got there, even maybe if she got a little anxious about the speed, she still, and every time I hear her testimony, every time I hear her talk, she always talks about continuing to be faithful. That's the form that God wants you to have. He wants you to get the form of faithfulness correct first before you come and be saying, God, why am I not here yet? Why am I not there yet? Why are they there and I'm not there yet? Why are they here and I'm not here yet? Why are they moving faster than I'm moving a little slow? The speed is not what he's worried about. He wants you to get there in the correct form. He wants you to get there still holding on to your faithfulness. He wants you to be able to get there still holding on to the faithfulness he started you with. But God allows the test to remain long enough to finish shaping us. God allows the test to remain long enough to finish shaping us. The tests, trials, and tribulations, guys, they're supposed to be shaping us. If your test or your trial did not shape you, you didn't go through it with the right form. If your trial does not shape you into someone that you weren't before the trial, you didn't go into it in the right form. If I go and do like the rows for my back and I do those and I continue to do those, I go through the pain of doing them week after week after week after week, and it didn't shape my back the way it's supposed to, I was not using the right form. I just wasn't. Or if I continue to do them and I notice my back is not getting shaped, but my shoulder is getting a little bigger, I'm not doing the right form because it's working the wrong thing or it's not working anything at all. If the trial that you're doing, if the things that you're going through, if the work that you're putting in is not shaping you to be the person that you're supposed to be, then you're doing it in the wrong form. Maybe look at it a little different. Look at it in a different perspective. Try to go about it in a different way because it's supposed to be shaping you. Every single thing you go through is supposed to be shaping you. And I know sometimes it's hard, but James 1:2 tells us to find it all joy when we go through trials and tribulations because it will produce. Which means every single time you go through a trial and tribulation, it should produce, it should shape, it should form, it should make. That's what it's supposed to do. And in that, it will become perfect, complete, and lacking nothing. That's what it's supposed to shape you into. And if it's not moving you closer and closer into that step, you're doing it in the wrong form. Maybe you don't have joy when you do it. Maybe you don't have excitement when you're doing it. Maybe you don't put enough effort into it. There's a form, something lacking in your form. And that's why it's not shaping what you want to shape. Maybe it's shaping the wrong part of you. Maybe that trial ended up shaping you to become a little more angry or have less patience. You didn't go into it with the right attitude. You didn't go into it in the right form. Maybe you didn't go into it with the right heart posture. You didn't go into it with faithfulness, joy, peace, patience, all of that. You were lacking one of them. And so when you walk through that tribulation, you just came out the same way. It went in one ear, out the other. It didn't do anything for you. Maybe because you were just speeding, trying to get out of it. You were just speeding and praying, God, oh, get me out of this trial, get me out of this tribulation. When is it going to be over? When is it going to be over? Instead of joying in it and finding the form to be able to shape it to be the person you need it to be the person that you need to be through that trial. Because you want to run out of it. You want it to be removed so fast that you missed the revelation in it. You missed the revelation in it. You missed the form in it. You missed your slim fit body type that you wanted to build. You missed the muscles that you wanted to build. You missed the abs that you wanted because you were trying to get it over with. If you rush through your ab workout, you ain't gonna see nothing. If you rush through your back workouts, you're still gonna have those love handles, babes. It's not gonna work. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. And I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters in Christ, my gym girlies, my gym guys, y'all can relate. Slow and steady wins the race. And sometimes isolation does too. If I do one arm at a time, it causes this arm to get used to lifting the weight by itself. So it builds its own independent muscle. If I do this leg, lift this leg by itself, it's going to build its own independent muscle. If I do them together, they're both lifting the 40 pounds. But if I do this one by itself, it's lifting 40 pounds by itself. It's a learning to lift it by itself. And that's why isolation is important when it comes to muscle groups. And it's the same for us. If we learn to isolate ourselves, we're able to build the muscle in the right way by ourselves because we're all one part of a body of Christ, right? We're all one part of a body. If I learn to lift my weight by myself in isolation with God and let him allow me to teach me how to lift this way, how to form this, how to do this, how to do that, I can be able to do it by myself rather than leaning on things that I shouldn't be, rather than leaning on the pain meds that I shouldn't be, rather than putting a band-aid on things that I shouldn't. Isolation and patience, because it doesn't take 2 seconds to build abs, guys. I promise you. People will come to me and we done worked out for 2 weeks. They're like, man, I didn't see no results, so I won't be working with you anymore. I'll be like, okay, I mean, shoot, it's only been 2 weeks. I can't say nothing. I can't say anything for you because you've been doing everything that I've set you. I've put in front of you. You've been following the plan. Hopefully you have, and you've been working out the 2 times a week, and it's only been 2 weeks. But you want abs and muscles, and you want all these and a shaped back in 2 weeks. Even if you're doing everything correct, time. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. You gotta lift the weight slowly. It be people who be in the gym, they just lift, and then they're done. I'm like, what did they just do? You didn't even give your muscle time to extract and retract, or do this motion, which is what builds muscles. You're not even allowing your muscles to do like a push pull. It's not doing anything. So you just fast, and you're done. Come on. Slow and steady wins the race. Allow your muscles to actually do the work. If you're moving fast through it, you're not even allowing your muscle to do what it needs to do. So it's not building anything. It's just there. It's literally just there. Allow yourself to put in the work and do the work that it needs to do, because then it will be all pointless. If you just went through that trial and you didn't come out a different person, it was pointless. Now you just went through all that pain and all that work for no reason. We have to actually find the purpose in the trial, find the purpose in your calling, or else you're gonna misuse it. If you don't find the purpose in doing this back workout, you're not gonna get the back shape that you want. You have to find it. You have to find the purpose in it. And you have to patience. Slow and steady wins the race. I will repeat that: slow and steady wins the race. Because me, if anybody knows, I just be trying to move, do this, do that, do that, and I want to be there. I want to be there now, now, now. If I have an idea in my head, I want it done right now. If I have an idea in my head, I'm probably already booking tickets. If I want to do something, I'm probably already booked flights. Okay, I and you know, I'm getting out of this, but for me, I'm just like, oh, this would be a nice idea. I start plot. You gonna see a flyer tomorrow. If I say, oh, we should do this, fellow, you gonna see a flyer in 2 hours. You gonna see something and it's already planned out. Everything's done, and I need to start sitting down, relax, have a Selah moment. Slow and steady wins the race. Relax, relax, calm down. Sometimes things that God shows you that He wants you to do doesn't mean that He wants you to do them now. It doesn't mean that they need to be done now. Everything has its own time. There's a time for everything. Time to mourn, time to weep, time to, and I'm gonna put that verse down below. I just don't remember where it's at. I believe it's in Ecclesiastes. But there's a time for everything. And right now, maybe He just needed you to get the vision. Right now, maybe He just needed you to get the form. Right now, maybe He just wants you to build that heart posture. Right now, maybe He just wants you to correct all the wrong friendships and relationships that you have. Get on good terms with everybody. Right now, maybe He wants you to correct that friendship that you had that broke for no reason. Right now, maybe He wants to bring you kingdom helpers. Maybe He wants to bring you kingdom fellowship. Right now, maybe He wants to put you in a community before you go where He wants you to go. Right now, maybe He wants you to reunite with your parents. Right now, maybe He has somebody that He needs you to talk to bring to Christ. Right now, maybe He has a follower that He needs you to mentor. There's so much that we don't see behind the scene that God is doing. The same way there's so much that the employer, we don't know what they're doing when they're not responding to our job application. The same way we don't know what God is doing, but we know that the plan that He has started in us will come to completion. Always, always. And I know it's always en pointe finish. No question about it, because He said in His word. Every single thing that He started in me will come to completion. No doubt about it. And so just running, trying to run to it, trying to, the what is it? It's like kind of like a tale they tell to kids when the turtle and the hare, the rabbit or whatever, they had a race. And the rabbit thought they was going to win so bad. They was so confident. So when they started running, this turtle was running slowly, catching his breath, going slow and steady. The rabbit took off. He took off so fast at the starting point. He wanted to run so fast so that he can get there back. He can get to where he's going faster. So he started running, started running, started running. He ran out of breath literally in the middle of the race. The turtle's still going slow, slow, slow. So the rabbit, he gets to the middle of the race. He's tired and he sat down. He's like, the turtle ain't gonna catch up to me. I done ran already so fast. So the turtle's going slow, 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 slow. Now the rabbit starts to run. He starts to run and he's running fast again, but he's running out of breath, so he starts going slower and slower. But now the turtle that ran so slow in the beginning, he has all the momentum because he didn't run out of breath. So now he's running so fast, he done passed the rabbit, he won. Slow and steady wins the race. Just because you had a fast head start doesn't mean you're going to have a fast finish. You have to slow down. So relax. It's enough. There's a song I love that it says, slow me down. Oh, I love that song. God, slow me down. It's literally saying that, God, slow me down. I don't want to move before you. I don't want to move without you. Slow me down so that I'm not at a pace that's my own. Slow me down so that I'm not moving at a pace that's not yours. I don't want to miss. It says I don't want to miss a second, because if I move before you, you're back here doing something and I don't already went miles away. Now I'm turning around looking, God, why are you not here? Why have you forsaken me? He ain't forsaken you. You just try to run a little too fast. Where are you going? Who sent you? Who sent you? Nobody sent you to go that fast. No, He didn't call you to go that fast. He literally told you to wait on me. I have a plan that's in the works. Wait on my command. Wait, I haven't even said ready, set, go. You're already gone. The gun ain't even go off. You're already gone. Relax. Calm down. Relax. It's enough. We have to really let his work come to finish. You have to let his work come to completion. But God strengthens the carrier before removing the weight. Whenever you're carrying weight, God isn't going to remove your weight. Once he's put the weight on there, he's not going to remove it. What he's going to do is strengthen you. And I always bring up Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane because Jesus prayed that God would remove the cup from him. But instead, he came and strengthened him. God is not going to remove you out your circumstance because the circumstance is meant to shape you. So therefore, what he's going to do is strengthen you so that you have more muscle to be able to lift the weight now. Now it's not as heavy. Right now it's probably light because, wow, it's not that the weight got lighter. You got stronger because you were able to endure the weight. For me, I've been lifting a heavy weight for the first time. Let's say I've never lifted 160 before and I go to 160 and it's very heavy, but I'm able to lift it. I keep lifting it. Tomorrow I go back and lift 160. The next day I go back and lift 160. In 2 weeks, 160 would be so light. Why? Because I've strengthened my muscles. My muscles are strong now that I can move up to 180. 160 is nothing for me. It's become so light. But 2 weeks ago, I was literally struggling. So what weight does is strengthen the carrier. It doesn't mean go and take the weight off. No. Lift it as long as you can lift it. And if you continue to lift it, it becomes so light that you need to move up weight. You start doing the same reps with the same weight, you've become so much stronger that you need to move up in weight. God isn't going to remove the weight. He's going to strengthen you so that you're able to lift it and even lift more if you need to. I wanted to read 2 Corinthians 12, 8 through 9 before I come to a close. 2 Corinthians 12. Okay, 2 Corinthians 12, 8 through 9. It says, is it 8 through 9? 8 through 9 says, concerning this thing, I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproach, in needs, in persecution, in distress, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. One thing that my brother in Christ had said one time is that when we come to the end of our human ability, that's when God starts. Because it says, when I am weak, he is strong. Once I am weak, he's able to work. So whenever I'm weak, he strengthens me. He starts doing his work. He starts doing what he has to do. His strength is made, his grace is sufficient, and his strength is enough for you to persevere through it. Here, Paul is writing about the thorn that's in his flesh that he's asking God to remove. It's kind of the same as with Jesus when he wanted him to remove the cup from him. And he's pleading with God 3 times. And God told him, my grace is sufficient. Therefore, you don't need it to be removed. What I'm going to do is strengthen you. Because right now you're admitting that you're weak. You're admitting that you can't do it on your own. You're admitting that, God, I need you. So what I'm going to do is strengthen you. Because right now what you need is not for me to take you out of it. It's for me to strengthen you through it. It's for me to strengthen you through it. Because my grace is sufficient. What you need is for me to strengthen you through it so that way you can get to the other side. That way you can get to the next level. And what you're going to do is look back at yesterday and be like, wow. Now I can say that I boast in my infirmities. I boast in my weakness, in my persecution, because wow, that's what got me to where I am now. And that becomes your testimony. There's no testimony without a test. And if that test was not persevered through, you won't have a testimony. And that there's nothing, you won't have a testimony. There won't be nothing to look back at and be like, wow, God, you really took me through this. Because you didn't endure you didn't endure. You wanted to get through it so fast. You didn't endure through it. You didn't have the patience to get through it. But yeah, what God is going to do is going to strengthen you through it. He's not going to just remove it because, oh my God, it's too heavy, taking off now. No, it's not heavy. It's not too heavy. You just need to be strengthened. You don't have the strength of the Lord right now. You're trying to do it on your own strength, and that's why it's heavy. You're trying to do it by yourself, and that's why it's heavy. That's why it's heavy. So one thing that I wanted to point out is this story about Abraham and Lot in Genesis. And it was when Abraham and Lot had decided to part ways, and they decided, I wanted to read this story before we close out, but Abraham and Lot was going to part ways, and and Abraham was like, you that why don't we part ways and go this, you go this way and I go one way. And Lot went ahead and picked his spot. But I wanted to just read that, and then go about ending the episode. But a point that I wanted to make before we got to that is that waiting is the tool that God uses to build your strength. If you wait long enough, God is going to use that patience to be able to build you strength, or build strength in you. If you don't wait long enough, God doesn't have enough time to build strength in you. He wants to build muscle. He wants to build muscle memory. He wants your muscle to be strong enough that you can lift 180. That weight that you thought was so heavy is not heavy anymore. And so when you wait and you endure long enough, he's going to use that as a tool to strengthen you and say, wow, okay, you've lifted that. Your muscles are strong enough. You're even doing it in the right form. Here's your new weight. And that new weight might seem heavy again, but then you repeat, rinse and recycle, because now you're going to more levels rather than being content. And a lot of us, we realize that the 160 is too light for us now, but we're so comfortable in the 160, we stay in it instead of elevating to where God wants us to go. We're lifting the 160, and it was heavy at first, but now we're stronger and we're still lifting it. And it's lighter though. It feels like nothing, but we're still lifting it. We're still there because we don't want to move on. We don't want to move to the next level because we're like, this is comfortable. This is where I need to be. This 160 feels like nothing. I don't want nothing heavier. I'm good. I'm good. And that's a problem. It doesn't allow us to elevate. We're good and content in our stagnantness. We're content in where we are, and we become stagnant. And we're like, this job is good enough for me. This career is good enough for me. I'm making good enough money, just enough to pass by. I'm, reading my Bible and watching my podcast episodes and watching my sermons online. That's good for me. I have my 2 or 3 godly friends. That's good for me. I don't need no community. We stay in that because we're like, oh, this is good enough. It's fine for me. It's fine. But I wanted us to read Genesis 9 verses 14 to 17 before we close out. Genesis 9. Okay, so we're going to read Genesis 13. Sorry, we're going to read Genesis 13 verses 8 to 9, and then we're going to jump from 14 to 17 and close off. Okay, so Genesis 13, 8 to 9 says, So Abram said to Lot, Please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right, and if you go to the right, I will go to the left. Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as you go towards Zor. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated from each other. Then we're going to jump from 14 to 17. It says, And the Lord said to Abram, after Lot separated from him, Lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, I give to you and your descendants forever. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth, and so that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your descendants also should be numbered. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. Then Abram moved his tent and went and dwelt by the terebinth tree of myrrh, which are Hebron, and built a temple there for the Lord. My point in reading this is the fact that, one, It wasn't until Abraham and Lot departed from each other that God promised Abraham something. And two, not everything that you see is not everything that you see is all that God has for you. You see that when they were about to separate, Abraham said, "You pick a side, and you go one way and I go the other way." And Lot was like, he saw, it says that he saw that, wow, this place has water, it's watered, it's fruitful, it has this and has that. So he chose Jordan. He didn't object, he didn't say nothing to it. Abraham was like, okay, you could take that one. Cool. Lot saw that this was the place, which would later became Sodom and Gomorrah. He saw that it was water. He saw that it was good. He saw that it was, nice and good it was great land. So he went and camped there. He journeyed that way. When Lot left, God then came to Abraham and said, now that Lot has left you, look everywhere. He may have chose a portion instead of you, because you didn't even, Abraham didn't choose a portion. He waited for Lot to choose his. And he was like, you know what? You choose yours and I'm going to go the opposite way. When Lot left, God said, everything that you see from left to right, back to front, I give to you and your descendants. He promised him that. And so my point in reading this is that God always has more for you in store. Just because what you see looks beautiful, it looks nice, wow, beautiful, great land, I'm going to go that way. You may want to go that way, but God has so much more in store for you than that. If Abraham would have chose Jordan like Lot did and said, wow, this is beautiful, I'm going to go this way, he would have missed out on the promise that God had for him. God has so much more. God has so much more for you. It's not what you see that God has for you. It's not what you see other people doing on Instagram that God has for you. It's not the speed that you see people going that God has for you. God has so much more for you, but it takes patience. Allow them to choose their land. Allow them to go the speed they're going. Allow them to go through the careers that they're going through. But God has more for you. God probably has a promise as big as Abraham's that he's trying to give you, but you're trying to go at somebody else's speed so that you can miss out on the promise that he has for you. If you want to go at somebody else's speed, you're going to miss out on the promise that he has for you. If you want to pick the land that looks good or the speed that looks good, the career that looks good, you're going to miss out on the one that God actually has for you because you weren't patient enough to wait for it. Allow his work to come to completion. Allow his work to come to completion. Amen. So, with that being said, that brings us to our Selah question of the day. Yay. I know y'all was waiting for that. And y'all always be waiting for that. So, our Selah question of the day is, am I asking God to remove something he is trying to use to shape me? Am I asking God to move me at a speed that's not his? Am I asking God, or am I trying to move a step ahead from God to the point where I'm missing him? Am I asking God to take me out of something that's supposed to shape me? Am I even doing it in the right form? Am I going through the trials in the right form? Or am I just trying to speed through it? Anywho, that is it for me. I thank you all for sitting here and pondering with me and going through this session with me, y'all. I appreciate it. I appreciate every single person that is here, that clicked on this link, that clicked on this video. I thank you all who have been here from the beginning to the end of this episode. I thank you all for just tuning in and being able to just sit in the revelation with me, sit in this revelation with me. I thank you all. May God bless you all. Again, I encourage each and every single one of you guys to like, comment, subscribe, share, all of the above, press the ringer so that you can receive notification when the episodes come out. That way you don't miss it. That way you don't miss the post, the link, whatever the case may be. You will get the notification straight to your phone. So I pray and hope that everyone has a blessed rest of your day. I love you guys, but God loves you more. Bye.